Hello everyone! Welcome to a Let's Play that I've been actually really excited to try out. This is Totem Tribe Gold. This is a childhood favorite of mine, and I only rediscovered it just last year when it happened to come up on my YouTube. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's go. I wanted to go through and play the game again, and turns out there's a gold edition to the game that I had no idea about, and so I streamed it for some friends on Discord, and I played through the entire game. So now I want to do it for everybody here on YouTube because I think this game is truly something special. So I want to go ahead and make a new character. We'll just, good old madganser. This doesn't affect anything. These are just player profiles. But, let's just get into it. The planet has entered into a new epoch of the comet, marked by a burning sky and scorched land. I think I have to click. Things that were once steady and peaceful are now not. Living beings that dwelt in peace now hesitate to live like, fuck, I can't talk. Now hesitate to live like they used to. In these uncertain times, our story takes us to the distant island where young Aruku, chieftain of the Hawk tribe, will face the challenges of leading her tribe to glory and prosperity while struggling for peace and harmony throughout the land and sea. Holy crap, I forget how loud that is. So let's begin on Tatala Island. Chapter 1. The Beginning. We are a small and peaceful tribe, but our destiny in this world is yet unknown. Elders say that this island was marked by a glowing sparkle that came from the sky decades ago. They say it was a mighty relic called the Tear of Heaven that descended from high above. It was foretold by ancient prophecy that the Tear of Heaven would grant unimaginable wisdom and enlightenment to its possessor. To find out if it's true or not, we must explore Tatala Island. Okay, that is so loud. I need to lower my headphones. Tatala Island lies in front of us. We shall start by settling the camp. 3 huts should be comfortable enough. After that, we'll start exploring deeper parts of the island. So, this game is it's a very interesting game. It's a real-time strategy, hidden object puzzle solver. And I know that sounds really strange, but it makes a lot of context. It makes a lot of sense within the context of this game. So if we click on here, it's going to just tell us that words of wisdom are inscribed on these old guide stones. I mean, okay, cool, whatever. These stones are actually kind of useful for a first-time player, but, you know, if you play the game long enough, you'll understand most of what you need to know. So the game's going to be like, build a second hut, you know, have fun. Game's already lagging out a little bit, but I'm sure it's fine on the recording. You can build up to 3 buildings at a time. That's, not important in the grand scheme of things right now, but it'll be actually pretty useful later on to get all that stuff done right away. You know, just having a queue of things you want to get done is important for this game. But, you know, right now, we're just starting off, and we're just playing through the basics of the game. I have with me a whole host of notes talking about things I want to talk about on each island, things I may miss, and my own personal experiences with the game from when I was a child. Because that is the other thing I wanted to mention. Like, the main reason why I'm playing this game for you here is because, like, I played this game as a child, and I want to relive it for everybody here. You know, I've already played through the game fully twice now. However, there is content I have not yet explored, learned, or just even knew about. And so, I want to share this with everybody here because I think this is a pretty underground game, all things considered. You know, I highly doubt many people have heard about this game, but it is phenomenal. I think this game is truly unique, something uniquely special. Unique and special, I should say. And admittedly, the game starts off a little slow, I'll concede that, but the game will speed up, I mean, well, it will speed up a little bit, we'll see. Fine, the The huts are complete and we have plenty of workers. Now it's time to train scouts. They inhabit scout lodges and we should construct one. You know, just place a scout. Buildings are going to be our primary form of economy in this game. You know, huts build our workers. Scouts are going to produce 2 scouts. We'll get more into the deeper economies of this game and how they operate in the later islands. For now, we're just going to start off and just, you know, learn the story, see why Aruku is here, and just play the game. Oh, of course, the guy's just going to just tell you, you know, like, more buildings and all this stuff. Good, now we have a scout, we can explore the northern part of the island. Let's go search for the Tear of Heaven, the mysterious relic that will unravel the future of our tribe. Okay, game? Sure, we're just going to do that. Sure. Why not? So this game already has the hidden object thing with, like, already, like, thrown into our face, and you probably don't even know what it is right off the bat. All these things you see scattered on the ground, there are gems. Believe it or not, you have to collect every gem for 100%. These are important, and normally what I did on my last playthrough was I just kind of like ignored all of them until later into the game, where it made more sense to go and do a collectathon to collect them all, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to collect any and all that I find. That way I can make editing much easier for later on. So the game wants us to go to the north, which is fine, but I want to take a quick amount of time just to explore west here real quick, because then we got this thing here. Such decorated chests usually store useful items inside. To open them, some tests will need to be completed. If we click on this chest, it's going to tell us we need to seek gems of power in other lands. This game has a big insistence on going to new islands, exploring them, and then going back to old ones. This will be a common theme, especially more so in the Gold Edition. But after showing all that, we're just going to move up and make progress. We're going to find the Tear of Heaven. After I collect that gem. And that gem. In the middle of a burned out clearing, you see a deep hole that looks like a scar. A scar on the island surface, caused by a mighty blow. Beautiful crystal is sparkling on the bottom. Its shine radiates hope and confident calm. So, the game's going to tell us to pick it up. I want that gem first. And then we're going to pick this up. I hold a glowing relic in my hands, and my very soul is overwhelmed with contradictory feelings. Confidence has suddenly turned into doubt, and instead of expected triumph, I sense some kind of vague disturbance. Who knows where this crystal will bring me and my tribe? Only one thing is for sure. We all are linked to it, and our destinies changed forever. So this crystal will be very important throughout the course of the game. It is a very important item. So now, our next stop is Mushroom Island. Chapter 2. The Wise Man. Give me a second, I'm actually going to check my notes. Okay, so there's a couple things in my notes that I kind of missed on, but we'll touch upon them here, like in this on this island. Rumors about the Tear of Heaven were true. I had a vision last night. Glowing sparkles from the tier heaven captured my mind. They brought me an image of an old man, so old that he's probably seen many tribes rising to glory and falling into obscurity. We must find this man and ask him to share his wisdom. Here was a hut where an old man lived. It was smashed to pieces recently. We search through the island and find out what happened here. This island definitely has some hostile dwellers. We should train some fighters before going deeper into the jungle. This is where the actual RTS mechanics of the game come in. So first, instead of building that, we're gonna build a couple huts. Okay, game. One thing at a time, please. So yeah, we're just gonna build a hut right there. For getting the huts up first. So yeah, this is also the other part of the hidden object finder comes into play. You're gonna find a lot of hidden objects throughout these islands, and they're all actually really going to be important because they're going to be used for solving puzzles and stuff. I mean, I think that's a pretty basic concept to understand. So now that we're on Mushroom Island, we're going to talk about the basics of economics in this game. There are no resources you use to spend to build stuff. Your economy comes down into three different things. It's going to come down into... okay, well, I can't show that tab real quick. It's going to come down to the amount of workers you have, based on how many huts you have, and other things later on. The second thing is going to be space. Space really isn't too heavily talked about when it comes to the RTS space, but maybe it is. I don't know. I don't play RTS games all too often. This is one of my few exceptions. But space can play a big role in how you lay out your town. Inefficient space use could really mean the difference between having a large army or a lot of buildings compared to not. So you may occasionally see me trying to really space my buildings close here together, but I'm not going to worry about that too much in the beginning of the game. It's not that important. Secondly is going to be the buildings you can build. As you can see here, huts train workers, scout lodges train scouts, but they also allow for something else. This means that once you build this building, it'll allow you to build another. We'll get to see that later on, but for now, like, these three buildings are going to be your like these two right here. Huts are just huts, okay? These two are going to be kind of like leading into your cornerstones for a lot of other things later on. So it's going to be pretty important that you build many of these buildings as possible. And that's where space use just comes into play. So now we have seen the enemy. They are maleficent mushrooms. As, it's a beginning game trope, what do you expect? Good thing we were protected with fighters, yep. These things are going to just come after us and attack us. There's really not much you can do when... Oh shit. Okay, so... there's not too much you can do when it comes to controlling units. Best you can do is drag them around like that. It's going to be pretty important later on when it comes to Aruku. Especially later in the game where it's actually used for puzzles. But that is at a much later date. The Hawk Tribe prevails, and that'll teach us those mushrooms. We're safe for now, but we should go searching for the missing wise man. Really, the only way you can go and control your military is through banners, which is the same way that scouts work, so... it's a very semi-autonomous system, the way that units work in this game. More barracks you build, the more fighters you have. Yep, I mean, that's just pretty simple RTS mechanics. The more of a building you build, the more you build. But the other thing, too, with the economy, now that I think about it, is, like, if you want to build a hut... Yeah, okay. Water's not very deep here. If we gather plenty of big stones, we can make a cross and get over it. Yep. Okay. Before we do that, we've built 3 huts now. If you want to build a 4th hut, it'll take 3 construction bricks. That shows you the length of time it'll take to construct a building. Building more of the same building oh shit. Okay, that doesn't make a fucking fool out of me. Maybe scout lodges will work. So scout lodges will have 3 bricks here. Building another one. I think this is predominantly for military buildings. Okay. Make a fool out of it. You know, we'll talk about it another time. But just note that whenever you try to build multiple of another building, usually military buildings, it's going to require more and more time to construct. So you always want to have at least a decent amount of huts built, so that way you have as many units as possible. So for now, we're just going to continue collecting stuff and exploring the island, because I believe we need around 6 or 7. 6. Okay, yeah, we're going to need 6 stones to ford the river. Each barracks provides you with 6 fighters. Fighters are your basic defenders, strong and tough. Okay. And we're at the part where I'm like, oh shit, where the fuck is the last one? Okay. Oh, okay, I'm a ding-dong. Items will usually glow and pulsate on the map, but don't be surprised if they're extremely difficult to find. Later on, they get pretty fucking hard to find, I'll be entirely honest with you. But now that we've got enough stones, we can finally ford the river. And we can finally start making a push towards the fungi layer. I was gonna wait, but okay. The cries of an old man are heard from one side. The giant mushroom, we should free him quickly. We're gonna just like send in our scouts just to go around and explore, even though this really isn't advised. Just to speed things up a little bit, oh, well, see, this is what I'm talking about with space usage. You know, now I can't build another building here because I placed that hut in a really inefficient spot. So if you ever need to build destroy a building, you can go into here, click on that, and you can destroy a building. However, you have to click on the building, showing that it's selected, and once you click on that, you can destroy it. Because if you just click on that, he wasn't supposed to show up that soon. Okay, ignore that. That's a goofy thing. He'll just tell you, like, select the building first to raise it. You know, all fine and dandy. So early on, our fighters are going to be strong because enemies are actually going to be really, really weak. I mean, mushroom, or I guess they're just called fungus. Fungus are extremely weak. Thank you for saving me. My name is Guro. I was the chieftain of the long-lost Wolverine tribe. Yes, I know what troubles you. Dark times are coming and terrible things will happen. Tribes and creatures that once lived in peace are now starting to confront each other. To restore the balance and return the lost peace, you have to gather 6 sacred totems and return them to the Cradle of the North from where they came from. And, that's it for this mission. You know, these first few levels are going to go by fast, because they're just tutorials, all things considered. You can choose to continue these missions, but, just note that every time you complete a level, it is impossible to restart them again. And this is because missions have... Okay, well, there's a lot of stuff I missed. It's because you have to go back to these places later on to try and get the remaining stuff on them. Like, they'll have, besides gems that you have missed, you'll have to go back and find more things on them. But I think for now, that's gonna do it for the first episode. I know I kind of like did a lot of talking and exposing about this game, but like really there's gonna be a lot more actual gameplay going into this besides the tutorial. It's the starting episode. That's just how it's going to be. But with that, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of this Let's Play. If what you've seen so far is already really interested you into playing this game can be found on the official game's website, Ncord, and you'll be able to probably play up through the first 5 levels or so before you need to create an account. So if you want to play this game in full, I would recommend making an account first and then playing it. Also, I will be documenting the differences between the first game and this version. A couple things I forgot to mention. Both Tatala Island and Mushroom Island are redesigned from their original versions. Tatala Island had a much different shape going on, where I think it went more up to the northwest. And Mushroom Island was redesigned to look more like a mushroom in this version. And so, that's really about it. Let me just check my notes in case I forgot anything else. No, that looks like that was it. So, with that, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of Totem Tribe Gold. In the next episode, we're going to be going to Dolphin Island and maybe even a couple more. But with that, I'd like to bid you guys farewell. Bye-bye.